Welcome to GISTUBE TV first. Let me just do that here. Subscribe to this channel. Just subscribe already. I mean, if you've been coming or you're new here, don't worry, you're in good hands, in safe hands. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video already. I promise you're going to enjoy it. Guys, come. I have tea. Royal beef is beefing. I'm serious. Okay, let's be very rational about it. And I'd like for us to talk about this together. The Alaafin of Oyo and the Ooni of Ife, Onirisha himself. It seemed like these KBACs, these royal men, they have some, maybe we are the ones that don't know what the origin of the beef is, but it seemed like there is something going on. You know how fans will pit, celebrities against each other. Personally, I think maybe that is what is happening. Maybe some people have some kind of thing or bias about the newly, coronated Alaafin of Oyo. Or maybe it's from the camp of the Ooni of Ife that there is something, or maybe it's from the camp of Alaafin, I don't even know. Because in recent times, we've been hearing of them and seeing videos and clips of them meeting at important events and snubbing each other. Now, another one has happened. Remember that there was one that trended? We even carried it on this channel, right? I gave you the gist and the lowdown there of how the Alaafin snubbed the Ooni of Ife. He didn't stand up to greet him. A lot of persons were like, oh, it's the Ooni that caused it. Since his reign started back in 2015, he didn't show the crown, the sort of respect that his predecessor, right, showed the throne. He was seen a lot of time bowing to other persons, standing up to greet, some other kings, even tier B kings, and political leaders, saying the Ooni of Ife should not do that. So a lot of persons said that's why the Alaafin did not see a reason to stand up to greet him when the Alaafin was already seated and the Ooni of Ife came into the venue. And other kings, stood up to acknowledge his presence. The Ooni was one that even walked towards the Alaafin to greet him. Now, sort of a reverse has happened. In this case, it was the Ooni that was seated. But, earlier, the Ooni walked to the Alaafin. The Alaafin just did not stand up. This time, the Ooni did not stand up. The Ooni of Ife was talking to someone else beside him, completely, I don't know if I should say acting unawares or maybe completely unawares. Well, it cannot be unawares because there were chanters and people that entourage that will follow the Alaafin of Oyo and people, chanting, eulogizing him. Somebody even sat on the seat first. I think somebody has to sit. One of his entourage have to sit before the Alaafin will sit on that same seat, just to confirm that everything is okay with the chair, right? So the Ooni of Ife was busy doing something else, and the Alaafin of Oyo also came, acknowledged every other person, and sat down beside the Ooni of Ife. Both of them completely ignoring each other. Tell me why these grown men and this was an event for West Africa. It's held in Abuja. So it's not like maybe somebody was on somebody's stuff. It wasn't in Oyo State. It wasn't in Osun State. It was in the FCT. It was in Abuja. And these guys did not even, should I say guys, these men, they didn't acknowledge each other. And people have different things to say about it. Some people are like, oh, the Alaafin is showing himself. Some other persons are like, oh, regardless of how much the Alaafin wants to be, is a tier 1 king. Nobody's taking that away from him. Is a respectable king. Nobody's taking that away from him. But the Ooni of Ife, is the Oba that ba lori everybody. What does that mean? It's like the mother that mothered the mothers of the kings, right? So if they say there's a king, he's the king of kings, not like Jesus, you understand, not like our savior, but in cultural parlance, it's basically the king of kings. Ooni is supposed to be the spiritual leader of Yoruba land, while Alaafin is the leader of Obas in Yoruba land. This is somebody shedding more light to the story, saying God has made it like that before now. Nobody said that Ile-Ife is not the source of Yoruba land. So this person is saying both of them have their different jurisdiction. You are the spiritual father. You're the source of the Yoruba people. We understand. But when it comes to Obas, I am the Oba of Obas. I am the leader. right? Somebody says Olofo ni Bobo Alaafin Oyo tí ó ń pe ara ẹ̀ ní Alaafin Yorùbá. Mi ò mọ ọba tí ó ní ààfin nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ààfin ni gbogbo ọba ń gbé. I don't know why he's angry. I don't know why this person is angry with the Ooni of Ife. Another person says, it's such a great thing that kings are not as powerful as they used to in those days. All thanks to the politicians. That's the only thing that they've done right. If not, this Alaafin will be cutting off the heads of his perceived opponents. He simply lacks maturity. He's so arrogant to a fault. Oyo people, I pity you now because you never get king. Nonsense. Somebody says, if really Alaafin, I want to share people's opinion because there's another video that now sheds more light on the situation and what happened. Do you understand? Like I mentioned, Ooni was talking to someone else. Seeming like he completely ignored the Alaafin, and the Alaafin continued to do what he was doing. Now, this person is saying, if really Alaafin has served in RCCG as a worker, he should display it. Abadeboye, who we all call our father in the Lord, would even bend to greet his driver. We have been hearing that Ooni is the head of all kings in Yoruba land. Why is Alaafin now allowing people to push him? And this is causing a lot of hatred for him. Everyone that loved him and supported his coronation are now having another thought. She continued by saying Ooni is a father any day to all Yoruba kings. Now, let me tell you another thing that happened. To show, people are saying there's another aspect to the video that we didn't see, and that Ooni is an absolutely respectable person. Apparently, before they got into the main hall of the event of the day, where the Obraha went down, the Alaafin met with the Ooni sort of backstage before they entered into the main auditorium. And in that incident, the Ooni was seated, just like it happened inside. The Ooni was seated, the Alaafin walked in his entourage chanting and all that. The Ooni acknowledged the presence of the Alaafin. He stood up. Some person are saying, well, when he met you, then he didn't stand up to acknowledge you. Why did you stand up to acknowledge him? But you know, Ooni is Ooni now. A very easygoing person. He stood up to acknowledge the Alaafin of Oyo. Both of them stood up, exchanged words for a couple of minutes. They spoke for a couple of minutes, standing up, talking. They were chanting. People were there. People surrounded them and they were talking. They had a conversation. So it's not like they had not acknowledged each other's presence. It's not like, oh, maybe he was coming straight from his hotel room or coming straight from a different location and just entered into the hall and that happened. They had interaction before. Maybe that is why the Ooni did not see a reason to turn. Or maybe that's why the Alaafin also did not see a reason to disrupt Ooni's conversation with another person when he walked in. Do you understand what happened there? I mean, I'm thinking about it that way now. Just to put things into perspective, because that is another video we saw. So I'm thinking maybe that is what happened. I would like to hear from you in the comment section. Which is why I'm saying, which is why I said earlier, rather, that is this a case of maybe fans pitting themselves against each other? I don't know. You know, trying to find chaos where there is no chaos. Is that what is happening, or is it truly that these guys don't like each other? Should I say don't like? I don't know if saying they don't like each other is a strong word. But I think I've been able to shed more light and explained what really transpired between the Alaafin and the Ooni at the West Africa Summit that happened in Abuja very recently. Because people are comparing it to the earlier video that trended. Right? But let's see pattern. I mean, they say we should follow pattern, not necessarily words. People have come with several explanations to what happened. But maybe we should follow pattern. So let's see if subsequently because these guys will always meet. These guys will always meet. And the thing is, remember that the Ooni even bowed to the late Alaafin of Oyo, when he was still alive, before his passing, before his demise. So maybe the Ooni is just a very respectable person who does not care about your rank. He just sees you, respects you, and bows for you. Out of, Yoruba cultural respect now. You see somebody, you acknowledge their presence. Maybe that's what happened. But let's see how their interaction will go going forward. Maybe they'll have collaborations or things to do together. Because, I mean, these guys are young, in the sense of it. Not like Obashi Juade that was, aged, or the late Alaafin. Ikubabaye that passed, compared to those men, their predecessors. These guys are still youngsters, so they can still do a lot of amazing things together. I like to hear what you guys have to say. Because a lot of persons also mentioned that when Oni saw the Oba of Benin, he also acknowledged him by bowing. I feel like maybe it's just the personality situation for the Oni, because it's been king now for almost 10 years, if not more. So if at this point he's still bowing, maybe it's not something that is doing out of office situation, or maybe, and when I say office, I mean his position. Maybe that's not why he's doing it. But I'd like to hear from you in the comment section, guys. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this one. I'm going to see you in the next one. Until then, take care of yourself. Subscribe if you're yet to do that. And bye.